has an opportunity to speak. We are all going to listen. We're not going to talk while the other person is talking, as long as they don't talk too long. And then the next person has something to say, and each thought is going to be respected. We can disagree or not, but we're not going to do that tonight. Because we're having a forum here tonight for the public, just so people can ask questions. So let's each of us allow each other to ask the questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers.
Right. And I mean, that's a question, that is a question. What do we do without oil, without gas? That's one of the things that I think that we all need to think about, is how do we transition from fossil fuels? We know one thing that we've learned, and that is that if we don't transition, that we will be just like the oil, dead organisms. So, did somebody else have a question?
Thank you. I'm just wondering how we can get these companies permitted to have these huge holding tanks right next to the Pacific Ocean and the Shadus River. And what kind of guarantees would they have that these these holding tanks will never leak? And how are they going to be monitored? I mean, the Shadus River is a natural waterway that serves a lot of area in Grace Harbor. And for three men to make these kind of decisions, to me, seems a bit abrupt. And I'm wondering if somebody could answer the questions about guaranteeing the holding tanks and how they can get these things so close to the Pacific Ocean and the Chehalis. Something doesn't seem right to me. So can someone answer that? Thank you.
So let me get out of the way of that speaker so that I don't buzz in your ears. That's a question that I guess, I don't know who best could answer that. Sally, would you take a shot? Thanks.
Hi, my name is Sally Todeff. I'm at the Department of Ecology as the Regional Director for this area on the Olympic Peninsula in Southwest Washington. And before I answer that question, RD, I just wanted to say thank you for the information, the forum that's here tonight. As part of the co-lead agency arrangement with the City of Hoquiam, some of the things that you brought up are important that I know we're still considering. As Brian said, we don't have complete applications. So things that I was really interested to know about was the glass sponge reefs. I'd never heard of that. I haven't really thought about flooding. So coming to this forum, I wanted to thank folks for the thoughtfulness that's going into that. I also wanted to mention that, as Brian was saying, when we do issue a threshold determination, we're interested in what your comments are, and the newspaper of choice that things will be published in, that's certainly weekly that you may know about. But we also are willing to create the mailing list that we think is appropriate for this kind of a proposal. So if you're interested to be notified when that threshold determination is made, you know, we're ready to have a special list made up, or a particular list made up. And maybe, Brian, you could be the point for people shooting you an email or letting you know what their email address is. Yeah.
Just to follow up on that, is on the sign-up list, if you would be very sure that you put your email address and a telephone number, or just the email, but please make it legible and your name legible, because my tired old eyes don't do so well at trying to interpret. And then we'll be able to get some information out to you. We absolutely be willing to pass. Maybe we can combine the 30th meeting and that sign-in list with the people who have joined us tonight, in case there are new faces, and we can.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Artie. So what I can tell you is that with any project that's proposed in the state of Washington or in the region where I work, the 12 counties, there's particular rules from local, state, and federal departments that have been set up based on maybe specific science, engineering, studies, whatever it's taken to create rules that I know in the organization where I am, we go through a rule-making process for water quality, for air quality, for things around shorelines, and a number of other areas. There's local permits and ordinances that set those standards too. So what I can say is there are, throughout our state and throughout our nation, facilities that are adjacent to rivers, adjacent to shorelines, and we do look to them to comply with those special regulations that are set up for those areas. So there may be shoreline specifics that you could speak to, Brian, but there certainly are, as we look around in our country and around the world, large facilities along shorelines, because that's typically where shipping happens. And a lot of our ports, not all of them in our state, are very close to waterways.